Apparently somebody just got told that there's no more sports for them. By the way, that somebody is not me, but my wife just did tell somebody off. Anyhow, we're starting the new line here. I've got the camera sort of stuck on the table, but the autofocus is going nuts because of the laser. It's getting the odd reflection from the laser, and it sets off the camera apparently. But anyhow, um, I think it's actually at a power and point now that I think it's actually vaporizing a little bit too much of the paper. But here we're just doing a paper surface. I'll do a video a bit later with some black foam, even though the black foam is not much to look at because the laser goes through it like it's not even there. But it's a little more interesting to see. Now this is one of the oldest G-code files that never used to render properly with the pen because the pen would wiggle too much. Now the step speed and everything is under a bit of control. I could probably speed the laser up a bit and it might not be scorching the paper as bad as it is, but this is the original G-code file, untouched. The machine has no problem with it now, and the laser has no problem doing it. There's a slight warming every time the laser starts up. It's approximately 5 seconds every time it gets to a new spot. That just ensures that it starts with a burn once it starts to move. Sometimes it results in a hole through the material at that point, but without that warm-up on some materials, it doesn't actually engrave at all. Let's just let it finish off this last work here. Whoa! Focus is being, must have caught a reflection off something. Now there is a little fan up on the heatsink that is blowing that smoke out of the way, so don't worry about that. And again, if you hear us laughing or giggling over here, it's because we're laughing about a previous sports joke from before the record. The cool thing is, I've just realized that this camera's picking up stuff that I can't see by eye. That's pretty cool. And this is also only just my tablet here. It's my Nexus 7, so it's not the best camera, but it's one of the better ones in the house. I have to set this up on a tripod next time I do a good burn. Just record it all in one pass and then do it up at high speed, but I do believe it's been vaporizing the middle segments here because of the beam power. Again, this is a 250 to 300 milliwatt red laser using a dot module. But even the dot module, if you get right close and look at it, it's actually a tiny little dash. Which would make sense because the thing that emits it is a tiny little dash. There you go. It's a little more interesting to watch it do some nice long straight lines instead of some small words. And again, this is after some corrections to my firmware that fixes the feed rate to actually take into account, because before it wasn't doing the feed rate properly. I'm just going to tilt you up a little bit. Hopefully not get too much shadow in the picture here. Now the other thing about this rig, I'm just going to take a quick second to come up here. The laser Z-axis is actually on a stepper, so it can actually refocus and change height during the cut if a material has a different topology. I haven't quite got that software figured out I haven't actually got the firmware figured out to support that, or the software, but I can use it to refocus the beam from the console rather than actually having to turn that little threaded lens on the end. Right now it seems to be about 3 centimeters from the surface is where the focal point is, so it's pretty simple for paper, and you can just back the laser assembly up on the Z-axis for cutting bigger objects. Now, unfortunately, you can't quite see that because it's self-shadowing, so let's just bring in a... Ooh, that flashlight's a little bit too bright. There we go. That's the cut there. Thanks for watching.
Sorry.